Here at the Resource Center, I have Roy Rickstrew with me, and of course, he is your disability rep, and it's always good to see you, Roy.
Likewise, Tom.
Okay, back to school time.
Yeah.
People need to be aware of different changes and different requirements, just like the kids.
Yeah, so I do a lot of childhood disability cases in addition to the adult disability cases. And back to school is a time that we really like to remind people that there's a lot of changes coming, a lot of new sources of information, a lot of updated information that might help to establish a disability claim for your child.
Okay, now, you know, when we started talking, you mentioned things like IEPs.
Yeah.
Explain that whole thing.
Yeah, individual educational plan, IEP, a lot of times the school will determine, used to be special needs back in the day.
Right.
But the school will go through, they'll do an assessment, they'll evaluate the child's ability to maintain behavioral standards, to socialize with their peers, how well they keep up with the coursework. Sometimes IQ testing is part of that placement plan.
Okay.
And they determine the amount of hours or time that you'll spend in regular classes versus more hands-on, one-on-one, or what your study hall distribution will look like, how much extra help the school's going to roll in. Well, all of those things are fantastic sources of information for us to be able to show how the child's performing at school. Obviously, kids don't work, and so we're looking at school performance, peer-to-peer comparison for a lot of the childhood listings.
Well, okay, so what does this all lead to? Is this a better product out there? Where is this going?
Yeah, it's not so much a product at the school as much as it is a source of documentation for us to prove a claim.
Right.
And so, you know, there's going to be new perspectives with new teachers. We get harder subject matter for the kids, and so you start to see kind of a separation and how well the child's performing based to peer standards. And then the grade transitions cause new challenges for us as well. We all remember starting junior high and having a locker to tend to, right? And the anxiety that caused for us. Those type of things occur throughout our educational pursuit, and there's different benchmarks, and sometimes kids struggle more because there's greater expectations. As
with time, things change. Are things changing as far as from the teaching side of things?
Oh, I think so. I mean, the special ed programs were almost an afterthought years ago.
Yeah.
Now it's an area of specialty. A lot of schools have got, you know, master's level professionals that are handling the special ed programs at this point. Programs are more intense. There's better funded. We have a better understanding. You know, in your generation, Tom, autism was something that was almost unheard of. Now it's pretty routine, and because of that, the schools had to adapt. So, you know, programs in the past has kind of pushed kids through. Now I think there's more of an emphasis on trying to help them prepare them for life.
Okay, where does this all go then?
Where's it all go?
Yeah, I mean, it's what else do people need to be aware of? Because I know you've mentioned several things, but there are those hidden things that, you know, parents just don't know about.
Yeah, and the thing with, I think the biggest danger for parents that are having problems with kids that may be disability claims is that what they see at home doesn't always bleed through to what we see in the school system.
Okay.
So it's an opportunity for you to discuss with your teachers, make sure the two of those things line up better. Ultimately, the goal is to try to document that they're falling behind in school. And this is a problem for a lot of teachers, a lot of parents. We don't want to admit that our kids are struggling. We're not a good gauge or a good, we don't have a good read on how poorly our kids may be doing. And so we really need to look to the school system to kind of help round out that record and document that case, and to cite those behavioral issues, to cite those problems with keeping up, to cite those, you know, deficits to try to help a claim.
Well, it's not only things are changing for the kids, they're changing for the parents. We have to know a lot more too.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you know, there's a greater understanding. I mean, we have some fantastic organizations here in Springfield, Arc of the Ozarks, for example.
Yes.
Mercy's got an autism center that really helps a lot with the autistic type kids. People are more likely to put their kids into a counseling program now where you get more contact with professionals. So even if the school is kind of pushing your child through and maybe they're not the best source of documentation, you're able to then bring in doctors and kind of compare the two. But the most important takeaway here is to be very hands-on with your kids' education, especially if they have a disability. Make sure that what you're reporting is showing up in the IEP, what's showing up in the medical records. We want to make sure that we understand how the child's struggling, and the new school year provides new sources of information to try to help parents in that goal.
Where do you step in? How can you help people with this?
Yeah, so we do children's claims here at your disability rep. Some of them are pretty difficult. They don't have a lot of gray area, then children's programs are very cut and dry. Documentation issues are the primary source of failure. Getting somebody involved like myself to try to help make sure that documentation in place, I think is a good idea. If not me, somebody else. Make sure you enlist help on these kids' claims. It's so easy to get frustrated and give up on this, especially when us as parents maybe don't want to admit that there's a problem there.
Absolutely.
417-812-6698 rings me at my desk. Give me a call directly.
There you are, Roy Rickstrew, your disability rep.